Hello everyone, welcome back. Doing some Q&A. 1,000 subscribers, thank you to all of you. First question. Illusion Maker asks, simply put, I really liked your voice and that the channel focuses on game without the drama. As for a question, I would like to know more about your entrance into the EDH format and what you feel are unfun things to do in Commander. So first off, thank you, I appreciate that. You guys don't know this, but I can be a little bit self-conscious about how my voice sounds. If you've ever recorded your voice and listened back to it, I still get that feeling sometimes. I'm like, man, that's what I sound like? Anyway, glad you enjoy the sound of my voice. I wonder if Morgan Freeman goes through the same thing. In regard to the drama, this year, I'm only gonna focus on the drama, and I'm gonna scrap gameplay altogether. No, I'm just kidding. That mess isn't for me. The whole thing that was going on over there are no winners coming out of that situation. That is all bad news for everyone. As far as things that I think are unfun, my soul hurts a little bit when I lose to combo decks. Those losses really stick with me, and I spend the next few days trying to figure out how I can better myself and better my deck so that I don't lose the combo. I've also been getting sick of really overpowered blue and or green decks, Simic being the worst offender. I'm just sick of seeing Tooth and Nail and Cyclonic Rift. They're getting pretty annoying. Stacks and Prison decks are pretty miserable to play against. I understand their role in the meta, especially like if you're talking about more competitive Commander, but they're just miserable to face. Fortunately, I don't run into too many of those, though. The last thing that I think is really miserable is Void Winnower. It's just the worst card. The reason that I really hate it is because it shuts off like half the cards that would kill it, since all of the 4 and 6 mana Wraths are offline. For what it does, I think it protects itself too well, and just a really annoying card. So yeah, things I find unfun are Combo and Free Win Solitaire, and Void Winnower. Next up, Matt C says, looking forward to Atali and Nezahal gameplay. Yeah, I posted those about a week ago. I hope you enjoyed them. They're sweet decks. Atali feels like a slightly more random than Heavy Eternal in my opinion. The random element makes it a lot more fun, but it's still a very strong commander. Nezahal is a really powerful card and a really powerful color. I don't really know what else to say about it other than that. Just with mono blue, you can turn a bad commander into a good one, and Nezahal is very far from a bad commander, so there's probably a lot of interesting things to do with that deck that I haven't really explored, so I leave it up to you guys. See what kind of cool ideas you can come up with to build around Nezahal instead of just the automatic free win blue kind of thing. Next up, Woolly Whale. I'm so glad for you, just have some questions. Do you think that altar arts are worth it? I love them, but people say it's too much money for just art on a Magic card. So, this is an interesting question. One thing I learned a long time ago is that the value of $1 is different to everyone. That being the case, altars may be worth it to some people, but not to others. For me personally, I love altars. I get really excited when I see them. I get that feeling of, oh my god, that looks awesome. How did they do that? So I get a lot of joy out of altars, but with that in mind, I haven't bought any recently because they can get expensive. What I would say to you if you're interested in altars, but you're on a tight budget, first, ask yourself if you'll enjoy them enough to make it worth the cost. Second, obviously make sure your finances can support actually getting altars. And then what I recommend is getting an altar of the commander you play the most. What I like about getting an altar on your commander is that your commander sits out in the command zone, so you and your opponents can see it all game, so you get the most bang for your buck out of altering your commander. Cards in your 99 just won't come up as often, they might sit in your hand. So yeah, if you're on a tight budget, I wouldn't alter out all of your deck, alter out your commander first, because you can almost always see it. So I paid about $60 for my Aurelia altar, but you can definitely get something cheaper, especially if it's just a border extension. Also keep an eye out for good deals on eBay. I've been able to find some solid cards for under $5, especially like newer non-mythic rares that aren't really being used in standard. You can find some cool ones for $5 or $10. Obviously be responsible, it's easy to get carried away on eBay. So make sure you ask yourself those questions. For me, I get my money's worth out of the enjoyment of my Aurelia altar, but it's not like I have an army of altars. That's the one that I really shelled out for because I actually have 2 paper Aurelia decks, and it's a commander that I play really often, so for me it was worth it, but you want to ask yourself those questions and find out if it's worth it for you. Next up, Magical Hacker. Loving the channel in my early days of experiencing it, so here's my question. What is one thing you wish your opponents would never do ever again, Commander? For example, some might say mass land destruction, another might say concede, another player might say poor threat assessment, etc. I talked about this just a little bit earlier, but I would love to never see another Cyclonic Rift, Tooth and Nail, or Void Winnower. Those things are all just really painful to me. Land destruction actually doesn't bother me that much. I play a lot of Boros, so it is a tool that I use in more competitive applications. Land destruction punishes the big solitaire mana decks that I don't really have any love for. I mean, another thing that I would love to never see again is the Teferi Planeswalker commander. I don't know if I've ever seen that deck lose. Like, it has probably like a 95 win % rate or something like that. Other things, the early scoops on MTGO are also getting pretty old. I've noticed a big uptrend in the past, I don't know, maybe 6 months or so. Just really annoying, especially when you're trying to film. Poor threat assessment is an interesting topic. If you're in a position where 3 of you need to try to stop the one person who's way ahead, and someone incorrectly assesses the threat, it can be really annoying. However, if your opponents assess threats poorly, that can also work to your advantage. In the Geth video I did recently, someone had the chance to blow up a Bloodchief Ascension and didn't, and the Bloodchief Ascension just took over the game. So poor threat assessment can give and it can take, and the guys from the Command Zone also had some interesting takes on that. If you guys watched the 10 mistakes Commander players make video. Anyway, that's the big stuff I think that I'd never like to see again. Next up, Eli Pie. You guys know Eli Pie. He does the EDH Lounge with us and just launched his own channel called Cardboard Confrontation. And we'll be seeing some of that real soon. Says, congrats PJ, love the channel. Only one real question, just how high are you ranked currently in the Boros Legion, and how much lust for war and power do you have? I heard a rumor that we're going back to Ravnica after Dominaria, so you may soon be reunited with your fellow Boros bros and have a slew of new toys to play with. So, I thought about this one for a long time. I'm very proficient with Aurelia, and I've played some Kalemny and some Akiri and Bruce Tarl, but I've barely touched Iroas and Brian Stoutarm, so I'm giving my current ranking as Wojcik Veteran. I think I need to get more proficient with some of the other Boros commanders, and then I'll feel comfortable giving myself Legendary Angel status. Maybe we can get there by this time next year. We'll have to see. Oh boy, gonna butcher this one. Steven Guitink? Congrats dude, the question is, will you take the challenge and build Tetsamok? I already did. The questions video was posted probably about 2 weeks ago. So I did take the challenge, I did build Tetsamok, and it's a lot better than people give him credit for. Someone commented that they were a Phage player, and Tetsamok is all upside by comparison, so I thought that was pretty funny. It will never be as efficient or competitive as some of the other mono black commanders, like Skitterix or Shieldred, things like that, but I think it's still a fun commander to play, and I really like the build that I came up with in that video, building around the Death Touch mechanic. I think it's a pretty reasonable mono black commander that you can have some fun with. OMG Moonfish asks, sorry I'm late to the party, but I'm really glad you made it to 1,000 subs. Anywho, I was going to ask if you planned on ever having a subs deck week where you just pick someone in the comments, ask them their favorite commander, and see if you can build a deck out of it. So, I've actually been looking for interesting ways to interact with you guys. I did a little bit with the viewer submitted deck contest a while back, but I plan to do more of that kind of thing this year. I think it's a really nice way for me to show my appreciation for the support that you guys give me. So it's definitely something I want to do more of. I've got an idea that I'm working on that I think you guys will see in the next week or two, so stay tuned for that. I think you'll find it interesting. Next up, Michael Atkins watched all of your videos along with Jolt and Mudsta, like all of your original builds and uber aggro playstyle. Yeah, that's me. Maybe break away from straight gameplay every once in a while. I'd be really interested in knowing your insights on specific color combinations. Top 10s are kind of cliche, but something along those lines. Otherwise, keep up the good work. Actually, I've had a few of these type of videos planned for a while, but I was kind of waiting until I hit 1,000 subs before releasing them. So yeah, I've got some videos in the works where we're going to dive into some subjects and explore them and take a break from the gameplay stuff. So yeah, those are things that I have been planning. I've just been kind of putting them off. Oh boy, gonna butcher this one too. Jamegar Gar? I want to say that I've enjoyed a lot of the coverage on Boros, Aggro, and certain commanders like Lycia, Samut, and Saskia. All commanders I really like. Some of them aren't widely popular and I've been struggling to build for them, so it was fun and instructive to watch you play and listen to your thoughts. Also about Aggro or Boros, you kind of taught me to play them. Sweet, congrats. In fact, all of your videos on Aurelia really helped me build my own commander decks with white, like my Oketra deck, which I'm slowly buying cards to build in paper. I was directly inspired by your equipment version of Aurelia, and I'm also trying out a Vona deck in X-Mage. Super happy with the content, thank you for everything, hope to see more stuff in Mardu colors in the future. So yeah, aggro is definitely my thing. I'm glad the commentary helps you out. I just kind of talk about what seems natural when you're playing through the course of a commander game. I do plan to play some more Mardu, but I realize my 3-color deck building isn't great. It's something that I've struggled with quite a bit. So I do need to work on that. I'm hoping to get a little bit better at it this year. But yeah, I'm glad you're getting a lot out of the videos, and I am trying to focus a little bit more on combo and some other styles of gameplay that I don't play as often, but there will still be a heavy mix of aggressive decks coming out. I just really like creature combat in the game of Magic. It's something I enjoy, so yeah. Next up, Adam Session. Would love to hear your thoughts on the differences between MTGO and paper EDH, and also, if Aurelia didn't exist, who would your favorite Boros commander be? So, Magic Online and Paper both have their pros and cons. I've actually filmed a video on the subject, I just need to edit it down. MTGO is nice since you can hop on whenever you want and just play some games. Don't have to worry about driving to Commander Night at the shop, or waiting for Commander Night to roll around. But Paper gets you that social experience, which you really don't get on Magic Online. It's fun to play politics, bargain with people, and that kind of stuff. You just don't get that aspect of it on MTGO. But I am going to do a deeper dive on this topic pretty soon, so stay tuned for that. And, oh man, if Aurelia didn't exist, that's a tough one. Gisela does a good impression of Aurelia, but at 7 mana and no haste, it's a pretty tough sell for me. I do want to play around with Gisela a bit more. I think there's some cool builds to explore around it. Otherwise, I've also really enjoyed Akiri Lineslinger and Bruce Tarl, just that it gets a little bit awkward with Sword of Fire and Ice and War and Peace, because then you can't double strike the equipped creature. So I'd say either Gisela or Akiri Bruce would probably be my next choice as Boros commanders.